What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of BTR Beyond the Ropes. My name is Retro Relapse, aka Fernando, and with me, as always, on the ones and twos, the BFF holding it down, Randizzle, aka Randy.
What is up, man? That's a lot
And
of.
before
There you
you
go.
get into your spiel, I'm gonna cut you off because today is not just another topic Taco Tuesday.
Jesus
I love throwing the words out at you. This is the episode 2025 BTR Awards, end of year awards. My bad.
End of year
Where
awards.
we are giving our thoughts on the progression of the year 2025. I know halfway through the year we did give, our thoughts and kudos and where we were landing with everything else. And now here we are at the end of the year, and it's time to put your money where your mouth is. And guess what? I'm gonna lose a lot of it because I'm missing a couple things on this list. But Randy, give them the spiel.
Well, before we like Fern, before we get into the BTR awards, if you want to watch back, follow us on any of your podcast platforms. Go to Beyond the Ropes Pod, and of course at the socials at the same Beyond the Ropes Pod. And this show is brought to you by Advanced Seamless Rain Gutter Solutions. If you're looking for gutters, gutter guards, gutter cleaning, hell, whatever, give us a call at 512-213-5763. But today, like Fern said, it's a special day where we give our, this is our humble opinions about, and we're going to stick it to the main companies, AEW, WWE, and this is going to be the BTR End of Year Awards. And we're going to go down this list. And we do have, unfortunately, we don't have any special guests, but we do have special guest answers that we will plug in as we go. We'll discuss, talk. Maybe some things are just going to kind of bypass, but there's 2025 has been a crazy year for
It has.
wrestling.
It
It's been a
has.
lot of wrestling. There's wrestling every day, with the exception on Sundays, unless it's a pay-per-view week for AEW. But essentially, you got almost damn near 365 days of wrestling. And it's a beautiful thing because a couple of years ago, people didn't even want to watch wrestling. There was only one company, and it was kind of floundering. And then a new company was born, I believe, 6 years ago.
Six
And
years
then we
ago.
yeah, and then we got some more to talk about, you know. And me and Fern, we're not gonna pretend that we watch AAA or New Japan. We might have heard things here and there, whatever popped up in the socials, of course. But again, like I said, there was only one product, and that was WWE, and it was rough a couple of years to watch. But now, with AEW in the mix, and the hell of a year they've had, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. And these awards will reflect that, the best of 2025, essentially. So I don't know if you want me to kick off the first category.
Sure. We'll give you the big old drum roll to hit that first one.
But the first BTR awards, do you want me to start with the heavy hitter, or you want me to go backwards and save the best wrestlers of the year at the end? What do you think?
Mm,
Or do you want to get right into it?
yeah, I don't know because if we go straight, if we go backwards, by the time we get to the very end, you know, we might be petering off and forgetting
Fair,
people
fair,
and stuff like
fair.
that. I
Well
say
then,
we go balls to the wall, baby.
balls to the
Balls to
wall.
the wall.
So, like I said, we're gonna give our picks for AEW and WWE, and maybe we'll have a little something to say about it. But the first category, the first award for the BTR 2025 End of Year Awards is what is who is the male wrestler of the year? WWE, AEW. Would you like to kick it off?
You said you were kicking it off.
Oh, okay. Well, for WWE, it I had Cody Rhodes. Hell of a
Oh,
year. He won his championship. He was holding it. It was defending champion. Lost it at WrestleMania to the great John Cena.
mm-hmm.
Had an interesting run, you know, doing tag teams, doing street fights, doing a lot of tagging, essentially. Still carrying the backbone of WWE essentially for everything else, but was able to win it back at SummerSlam from John Cena, and has had pretty good feuds throughout. He is my WWE male wrestler of the year. As far as AEW, this was a toss up for me because they've had they both had two hell of a year, but I will only give me one, and I will say Will Ospreay had a hell of a 2025 for AEW.
He didn't have a complete 2025.
Unfortunately, he didn't have a complete 2025. And unfortunately, a lot
Exactly.
of wrestlers didn't have a complete 2025. But the small
He was my
portion,
runner-up.
yeah, the smart portion that he did have, he made a big impact. And unfortunately, he was sidelined by an injury. That could be maybe career ending. We don't know. I mean, he's young and he's really trying to push forward. But nonetheless, Will Ospreay is my pick. He's had a good hell of a year, and he was making a run for that AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Unfortunately, just got cut short. So those are my two picks, and my runner-up. I guess I'll give my little nephew who was nice enough to come in. Fernando was nice enough to let us go watch some AEW pay-per-view this past weekend.
Hmm.
He for WWE he picked Gunther as his top wrestler of the year. And like I said, he didn't watch too much AEW. He wasn't allowed, unfortunately. It's a little too violent for him. But what he did see, he picked Swerve Strickland.
Very nice. Very nice. Kudos to him on that one, man.
Hmm.
So for my male wrestler of the year, WWE, I chose Dominic Mysterio because he has had a hell of a run this year, not only being the front man when there is no front man of the Judgment Day, but teetering around with his Intercontinental Championship wins that he dealt with, as well as his AAA Mania win, Mega Championship win, double champ, still double champ. Unfortunately injured, but it's not a major injury; it's a minor injury. He will be coming back Royal Rumble season, but he had a hell of a 2025. So Dominic Mysterio is my male wrestler of the year.
I definitely will fucking second that. I have him in a different category. I
Mhm.
mean, it teeters, but definitely a hell of a year for Dominic Mysterio. Dirty Dom, from what he came from to where he is now, amazing, amazing transformation.
Amazing. Uh, for AEW, my male wrestler of the year is probably not a very good choice for other people, but I'm going to put it out there that I am now following and am part of the Death Riders, and it goes to John Moxley. I know we all hated the storyline of him holding that damn championship in the briefcase, holding it there. But what really changed my mind, and not because of what just happened this past weekend, uh, there for World's End, but just the transition of what he's doing of helping people, putting people over. He really showed out during the
Continental Classic.
Continental Classic. Yes, thank you. And him winning that belt, people were really hating on him with this long-winded speech he gave after winning the belt, but it meant a lot to him because he knew that that was like a workhorse belt. And how do you go from being the world's most hated champion to the world's most loved champion within the same fucking year?
If you watched
Because
that pay-per-view, you saw a face turn in real time,
in
live
real time,
in real time.
Chicago I know Chicago loves a good underdog, and I don't know how he became the underdog, but he became the underdog against Okada and came out on top, winning that fucking belt. And yes, man, yeah,
Great way to end 2025 for John Moxley and the Death Riders as a whole, because he essentially, although just like Judgment Day, they don't have leaders. He is the clear cut leader of the Death Riders, and a hell of a year for them as a team as well.
I
So
don't see Moxley. I'm sorry, I don't see the rest of the team being faces though.
no, 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 and I think that we've always talked about Moxley, just like we've talked about Seth Rollins. They're tweeners, like it's just surprise, surprise, they're part of the original group of the Shield, so they're really on the tweeners. They can go face when you need them to be face, they'll be face, and when you need them to be heels, they can definitely lean right into that one. That's more fitting to their personality. So, what a hell of
Mm-hmm.
a year for John Moxley. So, kudos to that one.
So I have, let me see, I have my son's list here, Jonathan, our random correspondent from time to time. Male wrestler here for him, WWE was Braun Breaker. AEW Adam Page. And then let me see if I can pull it up real quick. I have Make a Wish Boy. I have his list.
Nice,
And Make a Wish Boy Draven. What up, Draven? AEW, he's got Hangman, and WWE, he's got Gunther.
nice, nice. And don't get me wrong, two great solid picks on both WWE and AEW. No one
Hmm.
can deny Hangman's run chasing the belt. Unfortunately, a short stint as champion, but has had a hell of a story with a lot of wrestlers, not only Death Riders, but with Swerve in the beginning of the year with all that burn down the house stuff. So kudos to him. And Gunther has had a hell of a year, and he's been protected by WWE. He seems to be on the up and up. He has retired two Hall of Famers,
Mm.
Goldberg and John Cena, and he seems to be plowing his way forward towards 2026 to make a big impact there.
And you said a perfect word, plow, because we're gonna plow into number two right now. Female wrestler of the year. Who do you got for WWE?
Well, I got my pick was Io
It's tough.
Sky.
It's
And
tough because I've got four.
I have two. I have two for both AEW and WWE. This was I picked Io Sky because from going to being a background player essentially in Damage Control,
Hmm.
she has been part of some of the best female matches in WWE. She held the championship for the majority of 2025. Kudos to her, and I think she's had a breakout, breakout performance this year, kind of chasing or holding the championship. My runner-up and my little nephew's runner-up, or essentially he picked Io Sky too. His runner-up was Rhea Ripley. I think Rhea Ripley had a hell of a start. For me personally, I didn't have her too much because there was some stale storyline for her somewhere in between there, but still one of the biggest faces in the female part of WWE. And with AEW as a clear-cut winner, and there is a solid runner-up. My clear-cut winner was Tony Storm. Hell of a performance throughout the whole year. Was majority champ for the whole year. And when she lost it, still people were clamoring to watch AEW just to see her. And of course, you got, I mean, it's hard to say runner up, but Ultimo Monet, one of the best years for a female wrestler, period, over all of wrestling. Indies, AEW, WWE, you can't deny when you hold that many championships, you can talk all your shit, all you want, say she's overrated, but clearly she is a fucking money maker. That's why they called her the CEO. So those are my picks.
For WWE, it was tough because there's four women that stand out in my mind. If I had to put my money on one of them, that's so tough. But I'm gonna give it to Stephanie Bacare. Not only is she currently the women's world champion on Raw, but she was double champion in NXT. First woman to pull that off, where she was North American and the NXT champion, world champion. So doing that within a couple months, maybe less, and then defending those for a little bit, carrying the brand on her back, and then letting those go so she can get moved up to the main roster and do it again. Kudos, Stephanie Bacare. My next in line for that also Roxanne Perez, female wrestler of the year. She also has another spot on my list, but as soon as she got thrown up to the main roster this year, she's been go 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 go. She's been in almost every single Raw
She has
of
the
the.
second most matches in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And
Win,
that
lose or
puts,
draw,
yeah,
she still put out bangers of matches. She showed why she is the prodigy. She put out there why she's doing what she's doing and why she belongs on TV every week. Not only is
absolutely.
she cute, but she's fierce. Now, I also have on my list Liv Morgan and Naomi. Naomi would have been a great female wrestler of the year, but she was sidelined because she was able to move on with her family life and she became pregnant, had to lose the title. After finally getting that title, she had to let it
She
go.
had a hell of a run leading up to it, and I, it's not a deterrent, a blessing to have a child, and
Yep.
I'm pretty sure when she comes back, if she chooses to come back, she will make a big splash, maybe in 2026. So,
And then my other person I had on there was Liv Morgan, because Liv Morgan was the other powerhouse that was holding everything down until she got injured and ended up being sidelined as well. Injuries are a son of a bitch. Let's just
and
be honest.
and that's been a tough 2025 for all, unfortunately that's the same story told over and over for 2025. A lot of wrestlers getting hurt, either careers getting cut short or strong runs or about to be strong runs getting cut short. But definitely there's a lot of people as we continue the list that will make that, and Liv Morgan again is another great pick because before Stephanie McCurry got into the title picture, the main roster picture, Liv Morgan was the one holding it down.
That's right. So I have for Jonathan's list Stephanie Bacare for WWE, Mina Shirakawa for AEW. That's another good one because Mina did throw down a lot of what was going on. Oh, I didn't even give my
You didn't give
AEW.
you AW. You didn't give you AW, yeah?
WWE was a lot. AEW only had one pick. I know I have another one, but this is the one that was near and dear to me, which is CEO baby Mercedes Monet on top for a fucking reason. 10 belts, 12 belts, 15 belts for a fucking reason. I know she won't pay 15 anymore, but for a reason.
Agreed.
Uh,
I
Make a
got.
Wish Draven has Mercedes for AEW and Chelsea Green for WWE.
I have Chelsea Green definitely on another on this list, but
Mm.
for going into that, let's go to number three, the third award in the BTR End of Year Awards, Men's Breakout Star of 2025. Now, I'm gonna give you mine for WWE and AEW, and I'm gonna give you my little nephews, and we're pretty close to it, but pretty awesome. My breakout star of 2025 was definitely Braun Breaker for me. Had a great showing ever since he got paired with Seth Rollins. He was already strong prior. He was the IC champ. Unfortunately, lost it to your male wrestler of the year, Dominic Mysterio, but had one hell of an IC run. My AEW breakout star was Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher has had an outstanding 2025 for AEW, not only being pretty much the face of the Don Callis family, but having finally capturing gold for the TNT title after he beat the
Protostar.
natural Dustin Rhodes. Um, my little nephew's breakout star, and he gave me some reasons on this one. For WWE, he picked Jey Uso. The reason he picked up Jey Uso is because he said he was a tag team specialist. Somehow, magically, to everyone's surprise, won the Royal Rumble and went on to WrestleMania to capture gold against one of the hardest hitting wrestlers, Gunther. And just from watching World's End, and mind you, like I said, he does not watch AEW, but he said Takeshita was by far his favorite wrestler just from
Oh,
watching it and
that's
how he
another good
carried
one.
himself. So pretty
Mm.
awesome. I also co-signed that Takeshita. He's had a breakout year. He is currently your IWGP New Japan Heavyweight Championship champion. So pretty
Hmm.
awesome.
On my men's breakout star for 2025, I agree with Ron Breaker. I have that on my list. For AEW, I chose Mark Briscoe because
Yes.
he's another workhorse that's been really that he really stepped out of the shell of being a tag team guy. Unfortunately, his brother's gone, and just really just grinded through the year, deserving himself that TNT championship that he holds right now. Now he needs to do a little more with it and stop a lot of this conglomeration uh teaming up right now and really focus on defending that title because you're not going to be able to do it if you keep doing tag team shit, if you keep doing group shit. And I get it. Sometimes it's tough because it's easier to put a 3-on-3 than putting your single star out there, but someone needs to come and step up and be like, I want that TNT championship because that's a mid card belt that should really be pushed. And it has
Agreed.
been, but it really needs to be pushed.
Agreed.
My other side list here for Jonathan, I have Braun Breaker and Kyle Fletcher. And then for Make a Wish, Draven, he's not a big AEW fan. He hasn't watched enough of it. He's been getting more into it since we took him to All In and everything. He doesn't have anybody for AEW, but he does have Braun Breaker for WWE. So we're gonna get him more into that, and he's definitely gonna give us more of a list next year. But so
No,
far, he gives me more of the WWE stuff. But he's pretty. He knows his shit. So when he sees what he sees, we already know what's up.
I think that means we can all agree that Braun Breaker has had a breakout year for
He
sure,
has.
and it really is shows. And being the guy who took out Seth Rollins and now again, there's no ipso facto leader on division, but he's clear cut because he's about to go after CM Punk for his championship. So
You're damn right. January 5th,
awesome, awesome,
the 1 year anniversary of Netflix.
nice, nice.
So let's go into the women's breakout star 2025. WWE, I have and I'm torn between these two. Uh, but I'm gonna put Roxanne Perez as my breakout. But the close second, and real close, Sol Ruka. And she really showed out when she was on the John Cena's farewell Saturday Night Main Event. But if you've been watching her in NXT, she's ready to bust
She
out of there and get to the main roster.
she was also a two championship
Hmm.
woman. She had the Speed Championship, which we know it was an internet, Twitter, X kind of championship, but NXT adopted it and
It
it
was
became more of a regular.
the baby 24/7 belt.
Yeah, and NXT adopted it, and they make it a little more. They have rules. You have the match is only 5 minutes, so forth, so forth. But definitely Breakout Star, a great pick, great pick. How about AEW?
Sky Blue.
Sky Blue, nice.
Sky Blue. If you haven't had her on a list before, this is perfect time to do it because every time you put her or add her to a match that has a gimmick to it, she shows out. Especially when there's weapons involved. This girl has been doing it since I guess I don't know
She was
much
there
about
for a year
her
too, so
indie
she's been there
stuff.
for 5 years. Yeah,
So being that she's been there, and I happened to just look on some stuff and saw a younger version of her. Well, obviously 5 years ago, now she's not that old, but you know, 5 years is still a long time when you look at how she started to where she's at now, and she's a way stronger, fiercer competitor now than what she was when she first started. Not so much babyface anymore. She's hardcore into her heel persona, but yeah, she really shows out, and it's really awesome to see.
awesome, awesome. Do you have your Make a Wish and your son's part too
Yes,
before I go mine? Before
Make a Wish. AEW, Make a Wish has Tekla for AEW and Sol Ruka for WWE. Jonathan has Naomi. Wait, are we doing breakout right?
yeah,
Naomi and Harley Cameron.
nice, nice. Solid picks all around. Um, For me, my female breakout star of 2025 was Stephanie Vaquer because what she did in NXT and what she's been able to do on the main roster, and she's been having solid matches. She had a great Raw After Mania match with Io that got interrupted by Judgment Day, but has been a solid champion, having solid matches consistently, and she has become the face of the women's division. And for AEW, I picked the Forever Champ, Athena. Now, she has held the belt for 1,100 days currently for the Ring of Honor Championship. But I think, and she's been with AEW and Ring of Honor for a couple of years, but I think this year, because she's been shown more on main AEW television, she's had phenomenal matches. She's showing you why she is the forever champ. She's had great tag matches with Mercedes, and she's had consistent matches. And when she's in the match, it's something you can look forward to because she's gonna put on a fucking show. And I'm glad that WWE let her go because ever since she's been gone, she's had a phenomenal career. And you don't have a phenomenal career, obviously. And she's showing you that she's held that belt, the Ring of Honor champion, the women's champion, for 1,100 days, which is pretty fucking awesome. So from there, we'll go to best on the mic for the men's. And I picked Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman has been hands down when he was with Roman, when he had his little stint with, just a quick little stint with CM Punk, and then when he was with Seth Rollins in the turn at WrestleMania, and then with the Vision, he's been holding it down. And you know why people want to be Paul Heyman guys? He's by far, he might not be a wrestling talent, but he is definitely a TV talent, and he is the best on the mic for me. Close second, and this is my nephew's pick, was Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, he has enjoyed, Seth Rollins has been a tweener. He's a good guy. He helped Cody last year at WrestleMania, put his body in the line. Big Swerve comes back, wins the championship, starts the Vision, unfortunately gets hurt again and gets kicked out of the division, but hands down has had some battles on the mic. And then for AEW, this was a hard one for me because of the placement throughout the year. And I have two on the list, but I'm just gonna shoot it out. Christian Cage. Christian Cage on the
Nice.
mic, pretty much the whole first half of 2025 could not be touched. One of the most fucked up people, conniving, Manson-like following, how he talked to people, how he worked the crowd, how he worked the wrestlers. Hands down, the best, I think personally. Um, at his age, being a vet, still being able to find a new gear into hitting the your father this and I'm your father and all this other bullshit, pretty badass. Close second for me was MJF, of course, was one of the best to do it and still is the best to do it. So it was my pick. How about you?
WWE can never touch CM Punk on that mic. CM Punk was my number one choice, but close second, LA Knight, because he also knows how to serve up a good promo. But when you put both of those in the same ring, Punk's gonna make you feel like shit every time. And he did it to LA Knight. He did it because there were memes out there. He got him to shut up for a good 10, 15 seconds. He didn't know what to do. But yes, LA Knight, he's up there, but he's not there, if that
with
makes
with
sense.
with with you saying that, and CM Punk would be a good within top three, top four of the mics, especially in WWE. Him and John Cena, some of the best in WWE to do it, outside of Paul Heyman, who is not a wrestler,
Hmm.
but definitely him pulling the John Cena promo in Saudi when he did the word life, the Punk life
Yes.
kind of thing, like to tear down Drew Mac.
Hmm.
Great. You know, he had a great program with Drew McIntyre for the majority of the year. And he with Roman, with Seth, with everybody, he's consistent, and I like that. Definitely like that pick.
Yep. For AEW, I have MJF because we all know the dynamite diamond ring wearer is the best to ever do it. On top of Samoa Joe is my other pick
Strong
because
pick,
Samoa
man.
Joe
Strong
is a
pick.
very eloquent talker when it comes to having that mic in his hand. I would love to see Punk and Joe go at it because it's been years since they've done it. But now that they're so, you know, they've been in it so long. I would love
Yeah,
to hear them both go at it.
man. And the crazy thing, the last time they touched and had words was in Wembley.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah,
last
that's
time
right.
that was Punk's last match in AEW, and
24th,
dude, they had a
23,
great program, and
23. Hmm.
I think the best part with, and I like your pick, Samoa Joe. The best part with Samoa Joe is he's fucking believable. Like he's very articulate, like you said, on the mic, and he's very quick witted. Like he cuts you down without saying fuck you and shit like that. He just cuts you
Hmm.
down, and he's very believable because when you see him, you're either thinking this guy can't talk on the mic, but he can, and for being a big guy, he moves like a fucking cruiserweight. Even in his
Yeah,
later ages, as a vet, he can still kick your ass. So
he does the Pele kick like AJ Styles, and dude, both of these guys are almost 50.
yeah, pretty badass. I like those picks definitely.
As far as the sub lists, I have for Jonathan, best on the mic, WWE LA Knight, AEW Samoa Joe, and for Draven, Make a Wish. What number is this? Five. AEW, he's got MJF, WWE, CM Punk.
Nice, nice.
Who do you have?
Oh,
Oh
I
wait,
already
you
gave you.
went
Yeah,
first.
yeah,
You went first.
yeah.
That's right. My fault. So we move on to number six. Best on the mic with the women. WWE, I'm giving my pick to Chelsea Green.
Oh, that's
Chelsea
what I picked.
Green knows how to upset a crowd, knows how to make everyone boo her. She has that heel heat, but she also knows that there are people out there that still do like her. So she does represent the way she needs to when she's out there. So yes, Chelsea Green for my best on the mic for the women's. AEW, it's a toss up for me. Mercedes Monet. She's a great wrestler, but she knows how to piss you off on the mic too. But the one who's close second for me because of her soliloquies of all the good stuff that she does, Tony Storm.
Nice, nice. You want to give your son and Make a Wish
Let's
list
see.
on
Make
there?
a Wish. Draven has Tony Storm for AEW and Becky Lynch for WWE. I will give kudos to that because she's upped her game as of
Yes.
late as a heel. She's a strong mic on the heel. She's a strong heel on the mic. I got that
Yeah.
backwards. Jonathan's got Becky Lynch for WWE and Tony Storm for AEW. So we're all in the
Eh, yes, and
same boat.
crazy enough, my best no mic on the women's was Chelsea Green because just like you said, she knows how to work a crowd, but people love her and she knows how to play. She's not afraid to be the butt of the joke.
Mm-hmm.
She knows how to get heat by being the Karen or the annoying champion, the annoying United States uh, champion of the world, blah blah blah. But my close second was Becky Lynch because she's had strong promos, consistent. Like there's no lapse. It's just very consistent. And when she's a face, although her accent really bothers the fuck out of me, she can fucking throw down on the fucking mic, hands down. And I'm like I said, everyone kind of has the same range. And for AEW, hands down, was much watched TV for the majority of 2025, who kept a good portion of AEW alive just to see her, was Tony Storm. Hands
Hmm.
down, because you never knew what she was gonna fucking say. You never knew how raunchy or how eloquent it was gonna be. And then she tailored whoever she was gonna wrestle, how she would speak and how she would talk and
Hmm.
how she would attack you on the mic. Because she
There
was
you
a
go.
heel, she was a face, she was a tweener. You loved, you either loved her, you loved to hate her, all in between. So
There you go.
awesome,
So
awesome.
as we progress down this list, we're at number 7. You want to take downgrade of
Yeah, I
2025?
say so. Number seven, downgrade of 2025 for the men. WWE. I had one man. I felt like they did nothing with him. Unfortunately, it was Karrion Cross.
Yeah.
Karrion Cross, he had some very psychological promos in WWE, and it could have been a great big thing for him. And unfortunately, I don't think that he never got the story or the right push. And that's usually what all it takes. We've talked about this for years. Is all it takes is the right push or the right storyline to kind of make you a breakout or make you a top star.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, he never got it, and he was let go. But nonetheless, it was I think he was the downgrade because he had a good run. He just never could find his footing in 2025, unfortunately. For AEW, this was a toss up for me. My number one was Chris Jericho. I felt like they just never, like Chris Jericho being the vet and doing everything that he could for the business as far as AEW, helping building up other characters, other stars. Chris Jericho just couldn't find his footing. He was the Ring of Honor champion. He was the Ocho. He was the Nueve. And he had the learning tree. He had a lot of things, and just unfortunately, I don't know if he got injured and got cut short, or they just took him off TV because he did hit a stale, and it just wasn't working for him. And my
Hmm.
close second for AEW, as crazy as it sounds, and it was really because he wasn't there, and I felt like he had a strong run in 2024, was Wardlow. Wardlow had a strong
Yes.
2024, but
Yes,
unfortunately with
dude.
AEW this year, obviously he had other opportunities to do American Gladiators, maybe some movies, but he was every time they brought him in a match, then he was gone or he was hurt. Or I don't. That's the thing. I don't even know. So Wardlow and Chris Jericho number one, but a close second was Wardlow for AEW.
Nice.
How about for you?
Downgrade of 2025 for WWE. I've got two, but really it's one. Aleister Black and Damian Priest.
Okay.
They've been feuding for 6 months. That's a half a fucking year of them fighting back and forth on all TV shows and pay per views. What the fuck? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. You kiss and make up and make a group, or somebody needs to stab somebody.
Yes.
I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I would rather see them both work together and create, the new Brothers of Destruction
Yeah.
and go fucking buck wild. Let's do it. Bring in your wives and stuff, or bring in Rhea Ripley into the group. Move her to SmackDown, and there you go. Fucking all the gangs together. That's their little crew.
Yeah. For sure.
Uh, AEW, a downgrade for me for the men's are the Outrunners. These guys had a lot of momentum uh through the beginning of the year. After All In, it kind of went downhill, and yeah, they're one trick ponies. It's I mean we're, there's no fibbing about this one, right? It is what it is. These guys are, you know, an homage to the '80s wrestler tag team. They pull all the little things with how they dress, how they wrestle, how they do things. Elbow drops and body slams and fucking long fucking mullets and big old sunglasses and pink
You
tie
son
dye
of a
everything. Right?
bitch.
Cool. You got the aesthetic down, but they kind of did look like they were going to get a push of some sort, and it just never really came to fruition as them being potential tag team fucking champions. It would have been nice to see it, just because every once in a while you want that feel good team to
Yes.
do something. We had it with the acclaimed. This could have been 2.0 per se. Not really. It doesn't copy, but let's give us something that give us something gimmicky that the fans can go behind and get behind, because I mean, dare I say, Babes of Wrath. You have the women's version of the Outrunners, Babes of Wrath. You know,
You're not too far off. You're
and
not too
and,
far off.
and that could have happened. You would have had the internet community behind all this shit and blah blah blah. But it was a downgrade. They haven't had a good solid push. Yeah, right now as of late they're with Dalton Castle, which is working out okay, but they've been more on Ring of Honor TV, so that tells you a lot too when they're having to fucking go to the sub show.
Yeah, they pulled him off the roster to put him on Ring of Honor. So
Yep,
definitely
downgrade.
downgrade.
On my sub lists, Jonathan has Lance Archer for AEW. That's one of his favorite wrestlers, and yeah, unfortunately, they didn't do a lot with him either. He was just more of a bodyguard than anything else, right?
Hmm.
And for WWE, the downgrade of 2025 was just War Games. Period. War Games, and I agree. If you were to put WWE War Games side by side with Blood and Guts, AEW is going to win it,
Hands down, hands down.
hands down. And Draven has where are we at? Downgrade number 7. He doesn't have anything for AEW, but he has Jay Uso for WWE.
It's odd to say because he won the Royal Rumble, was a champion 2025. So interesting pick, but I can see like
There wasn't enough push.
there wasn't. I think I
There
don't
was
think I don't think there was a push. I just think that Jey Uso never just lived up to the potential they thought he had. To be honest with you,
I think he does still have the potential. The thing is that you don't have the right people to fight him.
agreed, agreed.
It all depends, and I know I've said this plenty of times before on the show that you need the right dance partner to make everything fluid, make make it work, make the stories work. And some of the people they put him against just too unbelievable. He's not that kind of underdog, like a fucking I don't know, a CM Punk back in the day, a John Cena back in the day. He's not that. Dominic Mysterio was a good underdog at one point, right?
Yes,
He's not. It's not that believable with Jey Uso because I don't know if it's the street element maybe, but there's no like, you don't know where I'm coming from, like,
agreed.
you didn't grow up on the mean streets of fucking Hawaii, right?
Yeah,
Fucking or whatever. No,
San Francisco.
yeah, exactly. It's like, they just give me the spot, you know. So what do you do? I mean, let's just fucking be real with it. What the fuck do you do? So
Exactly.
there's nothing believable. Like Moxley was underdog against fucking Okada recently on Continental Classic. I'll bring that shit up all day because you saw exactly how just the winds of change happened because everybody hated him and everybody fucking loved him. Jey Uso is just a one trick pony.
He's
I,
main
I hate
entrance to
I hate
so
to say it because I love the dude. I fucking love watching him, but solo artist, it's just it's not his game. That's why he's with the back with his brother. They put him back with his brother, and it makes more sense. It's sad because there's not a lot of tag teams to really fight for the belts, but they're gonna put people together just to give them something. And they're
I think they won the belt solely so they can bring back the New Day and have that rivalry.
well, they did that before winning the belts because that happened. They needed to beat the New Day to go against AJ and
Dragon Lee.
yep. And then this past Monday on Raw, it was AJ and Dragon Lee versus them, and they beat them.
Yeah.
So they are your new 9-time world tag team champions,
Hmm.
and they're gonna hold that for a while. Oh, I don't know if you heard Hardys are trying to call out a generational tag team match for Mania. Hardys versus Usos.
I wouldn't mind seeing it. Wouldn't mind seeing it.
Hey, bring it TLC. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Yes. So now we are into number 8, downgrade of 2025 for the women's. I have WWE Bailey. Bailey. She's floundering this year.
A
She
lot.
really is.
A lot.
And it's sad. Like, uh, they could have done more with her. They could have had her in a better role. Uh, I get what they're doing with Lyra. They're kind of doing that with Lyra, but I'd rather have seen Lyra with Becky if you're gonna fucking put somebody under their wing. Have the Irish tag team compared to Bailey. Dragging her around and the whole as of late her doing the whole crazy thing. They kind of been pulling away from it. It doesn't really work, and when it does, it looks kind of fucking stupid. So Bailey was my downgrade for 2025 because I really want to see her go to AEW. I really want to see her go over there with Mercedes. I think that'd be cool as shit. I think she's done her time with WWE. I know she's used to the family there and stuff like that, but I think she needs to grind again.
I think seeing Mercedes, how she excelled, not only in the Indies but in AEW, that could be Bailey hands down. And
Hmm.
and then finally in AEW, her be the one turning on fucking Mercedes. rather than
Mhm.
all the years in WWE when Mercedes, aka or FKA, Sasha Banks always turned on Bailey.
Mhm.
I think that could
Yeah, you
happen
you
here.
can build some story off of that, and it's
Absolutely.
organic, and it's fucking organic. It's
Exactly.
not forced. My other downgrade of 2025 for the women's is Willow, AEW Willow.
We don't have to talk about her.
Uh
We don't even talk about her.
I want to rant on this so bad. It's just as of late, just watching her fight, I will continue to beat this dead horse until this woman learns how to be a professional wrestler. Because remember, there's two sides to the dance. You have to take the hits as well as give them, and not always be in a position to just only give and not fucking take. Because how do you make people really engulf in what the fuck you're doing is if you're not doing the same thing back? And there's a lot of sheep out there, dude. I just reading comments on some of the videos when they show like Will and Harley. They defended they defended this past weekend and stuff. Willow's the greatest thing. Willow needs to be the world champion. Willow needs is oh my god, Willow's so good and Willow no these people are fucking blind, dude. And I get it. Casuals, hey man, I'm glad you're enjoying the product. I'm glad there's someone you can cheer for. Hey man, I'm not gonna totally bash on her, but guess what? I'm totally gonna fucking bash on her. Fuck this bitch. Downgrade. Fucking put this list on fire because of damn shit. I'm fuck.
How about this? How about this? The subs on this one.
Subs on this one, number 8. No AEW for Draven, but he's got Rhea Ripley for WWE,
Hmm.
and I can feel that because we were chatting about that one because they're not utilizing her very well.
This year wasn't her year. I mean, she
It
had
was
good match. She had great matches. She has, but I feel like Bailey, she's floundering, but she's floundering at the top of the division for some reason.
Jonathan has WWE Rhea Ripley as well. He feels the same way. AEW Athena being stuck in the Ring of Honor,
Interesting take. I think they're trying to break Roman Reigns' record. So
which is great. You know what? Hey, you know what? If you're getting paid to do what you love and be able to have that number on you, and you're gonna help bring up a smaller company, I mean, fuck,
absolutely,
easy money. Let's fucking go, right? Fucking,
absolutely,
but
yes,
I
yes,
do understand. Like, you want the main goal is to get to the main show, right?
yeah.
So why not?
I think because she's also the women's trainer for the women in AEW and Ring of Honor. It's Ring of Honor is essentially the AEW's NXT. So I get why she's there, and I get why she's putting that time in to hold that championship because in reality, if you look at the Ring of Honor landscape, there isn't anyone who's worthy enough to take that belt off of her. So
Diana Perrazzo, I disagree.
Deanna Rousey could take it off her, and but
But
again, she's
Diana
been booked
Perrazzo is
poorly.
the pure champion right now, so
Yeah,
she's doing the pure rules, so she's even better than Athena. But they're holding her back they're giving her that championship because they're not ready to take it off of Athena yet. And Athena deserves that championship, but I want to see her with better gold in the big company.
agreed, agreed. So my downgrade for the women's WWE, and me and my nephew had the same pick, Bailey, all fucking day. She was. I think it started. It really was evident WrestleMania when they took her off after putting her through the gauntlet for the tournament to take her off to bring back the returning Becky Lynch.
Yep.
Why? I don't know. It unfortunately for her, she's that, creative doesn't have anything for her, and it's just kind of it's making her flounder. And I think she's to a point where she's too good and she's young enough or talented enough to leave and do to be to have the best career of her life. And
Hmm.
I think if whenever her contract's up and if she decides to leave, she'll have a resurgence and she'll fucking be top of the game once again. Whether that's AEW, whether that's TNA, whatever the fuck. I know TNA is a hard press because of the partnership with WWE, but she'd have a hell of a run anywhere she decides to go. Um, I also had Asuka on that as a close second because Asuka was the face for a long time of WWE, unstoppable, strong, had an interesting character that worked out, and then Damage Control happened, that floundered, and then they put her Kabuki Warriors, and that although she had been a tag team champion for the majority of the year, it's still it's still the touch and go. She could be a lot more if they let her. Um, for AEW, I have two. I have two for sure, and one is Britt Baker, and the other's Thunder Rosa. They've this year for Thunder Rosa specifically, her making a return and then floundering and then going right back to Ring of Honor, just kicking her right into Ring of Honor was weird to me. Like she was the champ that never lost her belt and she had been gone for so long. I thought she'd have a better run going against the AEW Women's Champion. That didn't work out for her.
Dude,
And then Britt,
she hasn't been in fucking Ring of Honor since the beginning of the year.
oh well, there you go. So even worse.
You
And
know what
then
she's been doing? She's been fucking making videos on YouTube and only wrestlers or whatever, cooking food in her tarantarans.
there you go. There you
Her
go.
underwear.
And then Britt Baker, like she's had an interesting year. She's gone. She makes a return, has some backstage trouble, is gone again. She hasn't really made a splash, and she was the top female wrestler in AEW for a long, 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 long time since the beginning,
Yeah.
since the inception of AEW. And what the fuck happened to her this year? I don't know. I don't know if she's on her way out. She's requested to leave. If she's whatever, right? All I think is this was a floundering year for her, and like I said, she showed up one time, fought, and then haven't been seen again. Outside of that, number 9 for the BTR End of Year Awards, biggest letdown in the men's. I have for WWE LA Knight's push. I think LA Knight he held the U.S. Championship, but never got the true run. Great on the mic, but never, like we said, and you said it just earlier, never had the right dance partners. He has a similar situation as Jey Uso. He was a
Hmm.
champ, believable champ, and he every time he was close to make that run as the world heavyweight or undisputed champion, his legs just got taken out from him. It's like, okay, he has a run. Oh, guess what? CM Punk's healthy again. Oh, guess what? Roman Reigns decided to come back. Oh, guess what? Blah 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 blah. Seth Rollins is starting a new group, and you can't make him look weak, so he can't lose. Blah 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 blah. So that's a close one was also AJ Styles' push because he's been. I'm not saying he's floundering, but he's just. They're not letting him be AJ Styles. You know, they're not letting him be AJ Styles. So, and then for AEW, I only have one. Adam Copeland, Edge, FKA Edge. I feel like his run has been sporadic. He had the open challenge for the TNT title, had a good program with Christian Cage. That got hurt, came was out for a while, came back, started to have a program where he was teaming with Christian Cage, which I thought was going to be a bigger thing. Had a match with FTR, out again. I know he's doing TV shows, the Percy Jackson TV show. He's doing other shit. But I feel like he could do more. I know he wants to probably do more, but if they're giving him the time, he's like, all right, I guess I'll just do something else. So he's doing other things, other projects, whatever. But I think that his run could have been a lot better for 2025. I'm hoping he makes his return towards the beginning of the year and starts making a push towards MJF, or even if they don't put my title picture for that, maybe he goes after Mark Briscoe for a TNT title. Maybe he goes after Mox for the Continental. Maybe he goes after Okada for the International. Something, something. I think, or even the tag team titles with Christian Cage. So that is my biggest letdown of the year for the men's. So
On my side, biggest letdown in 2025, WWE. I was kind of stuck between two things. First one, the Lucha Brothers not tag teaming together here, because it would have been nice to see that. They were
yeah,
supposed to have a spiff off going on in AAA, which was going to open the door for that to come. Now that Penta's not injured, that's going to happen. But they still kind of waited too long. They could have done something during the summer. They really could have. My other second closest one, Sheamus not getting the Grand Slam championship. Cena got it before Sheamus, which was sad because all he's missing is the Intercontinental Championship,
I
and they
thought
still have.
I thought with the Cena Open Challenge, I thought he would have progressed to have his final match with John Cena would have been great. I get why they gave it to Gunther. I get the logic. It's the future as far as WWE's eyes, but
No, it was it wasn't Sami Zayn. Who won it off of him?
the what the IC,
Well, didn't Sami Zayn have it for a minute too?
not the IC,
Yeah. Then what belt did he challenge Cena to?
the IC,
Oh, the U.S.
the
The
US.
U.S.
Yeah,
Open. Yeah, that was the
yeah,
U.S. My bad.
yeah. So.
I was thinking about that. But
And
yeah,
then
either way,
yeah,
Sheamus not getting it. The Grand Slam was like a big letdown because it's like, dude, you could have done it. You could have just given it to him, and you don't use him. You haven't used him in a while. You'll see him in Rumble, but when was the last time you saw Sheamus? I know he does the house shows.
he did
When
the
was the last
like
time
I
you
said,
saw him?
the last time we saw him was in the tournament, the John Cena tournament.
Hmm.
So
And then for AEW, this one's tough to say. Uh, All in Dallas, Adam Cole, concussion issues, concussion protocol, as I'm calling
again,
it,
again,
where he had to come out because he was scheduled to fight and was not able to compete. And he did let the crowd know there. He let us know that he was not able to do it. He had his best friends in Paragon there, which was Roddy and Kyle O'Reilly, and they came out and they're all crying in the middle of the ring. And he's doing okay, but that's all we know. They talked about it in the media scrum that happened for the pay per view, and Tony Khan's kind of in contact with him, kind of not. Like he's been doing, some of the sub stuff that they have for AEW, the AEW games. He'll uh he'll go on with Evil Uno and they do video game stuff and they'll put it on the YouTube and shit like that. But as far as him in a wrestling capacity, they where he's at, he may not be in that. But Tony Khan did say that still has a home with AEW. Obviously, he's still getting paid with AEW. And if he ever wants to take up any kind of other role in the back, he's more than welcome to, whether it be trainer, whether it be producer, or anything else. Tony Khan's got his back, so that's a great thing. So thank you, Tony. As far as my sub list here, biggest letdown, right? We're doing the men's.
hmm
Uh, Jonathan again has the men's war game of 2025. And then he also has AEW Josh Alexander's debut. That was a letdown. And then this is number 9. So Draven doesn't have anything for AEW, but for WWE he has Cena's retirement run, and I can attest to that as well.
fair enough. And we'll get into that. I have it on another list for me, so definitely
Yep.
get into
For
that.
for me, it was he should have stayed heel all the way through, but the way it was written, it just wasn't in the cards. But give me your biggest letdown in 2025 for the men's.
I read
Well, then we're gonna go into the biggest letdown for the women's of
it.
2025. Pardon me. That's right. When we go back and forth, we do double, I get confused. Um, and that's right. I was eating my Ferrero when you were doing that. Biggest letdown for me, 2025 women's Naomi getting pregnant after becoming champion.
I know. Tough,
It's
tough
a
break. Tough
blessing.
break.
It's a blessing, but it's a letdown because it was. I was curious to see how she was gonna handle that run.
She had an interesting character change, and
Mhm.
although it might have started off weird or cringe, she made it work.
She did. She was starting to own that character change, and that's where everything kind of like was shitty because I was waiting for more to happen. But hey, man, when life gives you lemons, you add some vodka.
There you go. There you go.
You know, for AEW, mine was Megan Bain and Penelope Ford not getting the tag team push in the tournament as much as they should have because of Penelope getting injured. I really wanted to see them as the inaugural women's tag team champions, and I think they should have been on that list. But the injury of Penelope ended up suffering, injuring her arm. Didn't let that happen. I'm glad Maria Shafir stepped in and was game to go along with it because them Megan and Shafir together were fucking awesome to see. But I would have really loved to see Penelope Ford and Megan Main holding championship belts. So
No,
those are my women's biggest letdown. My sub lists here, number 10. Draven doesn't have anything for AEW. He does have Jade Cargill for WWE. And I can understand and see that. You have a wonderful women's champion who's not doing wonderful things.
exactly.
And then for Jonathan, biggest letdown 2025 women's, he's got WWE Naomi title reign slash injury. I think he meant pregnancy. And then AEW Women's World Tag Team Champion winners.
So,
That's my boy right there.
so
That's my boy.
I'll bleed right into it because that bleeds into mine. I'll give AEW's first the women's tag team championship bracket. I think it could have been stronger. I agree 100% with Jonathan and you. Megan Bain and Penelope Ford, I was pushing, clamoring for them to take the win. And then just a bracket alone, how the Babes of Wrath beat Mercedes and Athena, and not just once, but just recently
No.
twice, uh, baffling. Fucking hands down, it ruined that whole shtick of the new branding, newly crowned um, championships to go to
Mm-hmm.
them. I wasn't okay with that.
Mm-mm.
But as far as the WWE side, I put Charlotte Flair's return. I thought the build up for her to come and fight Tiffy, especially during WrestleMania, like Tiffy didn't have it, dude. And I feel like Charlotte could have done more. She won the Royal Rumble. She could have done more, and it just didn't pander out the way I thought. And then immediately, because they're not going to do anything with her or didn't have anything for her, they put her with the returning Alexa Bliss as well, which is good for them because they got Alexa Bliss has a kid, and Charlotte Flair is still kind of nursing. I'm assuming nursing an injury that she came back from. So you take 50% of the workload off of you, which works
Mm-hmm.
out in the long run. But I just think the her return was just kind of like, and I wish I could have seen more for it. Whether you liked her or not, like Charlotte Flair is the best or one of the best in the WWE women's division. So, but at the subcategory, my little nephew put Raquel Rodriguez. He thought he thought he felt like her being a powerhouse could have been they could have accentuated it a little bit more. But
Mm-hmm.
her, I get why they put her to tag team with Liv and then they put her with Raquel. Like she's not the best in the mic, but they never let her show her powers, what he said. So now from there we go to number 11 on the BTR end of year awards. Biggest story flop for the men. And this is my WWE hot take, and I'll give my nephews right after mine. The John Cena heel turn. That was mine. I thought that the way it happened, shitty when two people who are supposed to be part of that thing kind of fall off. Get it? But I think John Cena had the capability. John Cena had the capability to continue and make it work. But people don't want to hate someone who's about to leave, who's been there for 20 something years. So
Yep.
it was hard to say it, but I feel like, and I know me and you had the same sentiment. We wish we would have just taken it to the end of the year. I think it could have gotten better and better. Let him fucking start doing what he did because he's had phenomenal matches with a lot of great wrestlers. But it just kind of had to flop. As far as the AEW side, my little nephew didn't have this one, but I put the Undisputed Kingdom with the Devil. That whole turn with
That's cool.
better than you, baby, and Adam Cole being the Devil, and then him starting Undisputed Kingdom with Kyle, Rowdy, uh, Trevor. Is it Trevor? No, 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 no. The two other guys. The two other guys.
The
Um,
Murdoch,
no, no. I just think it unfortunately with
Matt Taven,
Matt
and
Mike
fuck,
Bennett, Mike Bennett.
Mike. Yep.
I think it could have been better. Unfortunately for them, the main guy who was
Ever.
the whole storyline was built around. You touched on it earlier. Was Adam Cole getting hurt again, and God knows if he's ever going to come back because this is back to back concussion kind of situation. So this might be the end of his career. And the way he sounded at AEW All in Dallas, like that might be it. So a
Hmm.
little rough. And then my nephew, he didn't have anything for AEW, but he said the Final Testament, which was Karrion Cross, Authors of Pain, Scarlett, and Paul Ellering. It could have been better.
Oh
Again, same
man,
same same thing. Like it just there was never ever really a
how
push.
do you let go of AOP, man?
There was never really a push for them, unfortunately, and they could have been a stronger. I think they were a stronger faction as far as talent over the Judgment Day. It just never panned out the way they thought it was going to happen, and
Dude,
it's
I would
just
love to see AOP versus fucking War Raiders.
yeah, that's
That's
been
just
great.
a meaty match, dude. But it never came to fruition
Just
because they
never
were
went.
both on different sides.
Exactly. So those are my biggest story flops for men. How about you,
Biggest story flop 2025 in the men's AEW. I have Trevor.
Murdoch?
I've got Hangman as champion. Yeah, we finally got Hangman to release the fucking belt from the case. but his story after that was just pure cowboy shit, cowboy horse shit. Because it could have been better. It could have been way better, and they didn't know how to take it. They didn't know where to put the story from there. He wasn't chasing anymore because he's more of a chaser than he is a holder, and it just didn't work out. For WWE, I agree with the Cena heel turn because there could have been way more things they could have done with this. Plenty of opponents that should have stayed heel. They should have done this a year ago, but Cena only gave us a year. So what can you do? You make the best of what you can. Life gives you lemons. You ain't got no vodka. You try whiskey, right?
There you go.
You
Something.
go. It's gonna get you fucked up, but it's not gonna make. It's not gonna make it right
It's not gonna mix
because it
well. It's not gonna mix well.
no because it didn't because this heel turn was not what it was, and he had to apologize for it, which is sad. He apologized for it, but hey man, Cena still did what Cena had to do when he came out on top, and it is what it is, and we all know how that story ends. As far as um, my side lists here, what are we doing? Story flop.
Yeah.
Jonathan has John Cena's farewell tour, so he's in agreement. MJF's trying to join the Hurt Syndicate in AEW.
It could have been great. Could have been great.
Uh huh, and that didn't pair out. Draven has nothing for AEW, but he also has Cena's heel run as well for the biggest story flop in 2025.
I think this kind of sums up 2025 as far as WWE and what could have been, and that was the big flop, unfortunately, was Cena's
Mm-hmm.
run as a heel, or even just his run, like at least the first half, the second half, fantastic, and it could have been even better as a heel. So,
Yep. So now we move on to the biggest story flop for the women's in 2025. For WWE, I had Tiffany Stratton as champion. Her run was just did not like it. Again, placeholder.
placeholder.
Someone to hold the belt, but no good stories. As far as the women, my biggest story flop, even though it's a little story, Mercedes and Athena not winning the women's tag tournament because that would have been awesome to see both of them holding on to the tag belts. Not only just them being inaugural, but just having them as powerhouses for people to chase after because they would have given a hell of a fucking better shot holding those belts and doing things with than the unbelievable. I'm gonna call them the blah, 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 because I don't want to say their fucking names either. Fucking babes are rap. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah,
Uh,
blah.
exactly. Blah, 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 blah. Mercedes is fighting Willow. Is it on Dynamite? I believe it's on
Let,
Dynamite for New Year's.
let me throw a wild question for you. If Willow wins and beats Mercedes for the TBS
Well, I
championship, will
had
you
to
stop
finish
watching?
saying
Will you stop
I,
watching wrestling?
I had to finish saying what they're fighting for, and then that question would be a perfect answer because they're fighting for the TBS championship. And if Willow wins the TBS championship, I'm gonna try very hard not to punch the TV because then I won't be able to watch any other wrestling. If anything, I'll just probably go punch myself in the wall, punch myself in the corner or something. Because I might poke out one of my eyes so I don't have to watch that side of the TV. I
Fair.
will not. I do. I will.
I'll stop
I'm
watching
gonna
AEW
go.
for a little bit.
Dude, anytime that she's on TV, I'm just gonna turn it off and I'll wait. I'm not even gonna fast forward. I'm just gonna turn it off. I'll have somebody else fast forward it while I'm not in the room, and then come back and push play.
There you go. There you go.
Fuck that. Okay, so as far as yeah, as far as my side list, Draven has nothing for AEW, but he has for the biggest story flop for the women's Naomi's potential championship run, and obviously we know why.
Yeah.
Jonathan has oops Jade's story with the belt, if there was any for WWE, AEW, Willow and Harley's story with the belts.
And I'm gonna kind of add on to this because my biggest flop for AEW for the women's was the women's tag team division tournament again, and all the outcome of what happened and what could have been and what ended up happening. I am not a fan of any of that, and we've already discussed it more than enough throughout this list. So that's one. But for the women's on the WWE side, I had Zelina and Julia's U.S. Championship run. The
Ooh.
moment they took it off of Chelsea Green which was a big mistake for because she was fucking the best inaugural champion for that because
Hmm.
she's a Canadian holding the U.S. Championship belt
Hmm.
because of what she could do on the mic, what she could her crowd work and her matches and how much she could be the butt of the joke and still make it work for her. Zelina didn't even live up to it. So much so that they took off the belt her pretty quick. They gave it to Julia. Julia has had the belt and she didn't even have a run and she had a phenomenal year in NXT, but just never they never gave her anything and they paired her with some girl who also could barely wrestle in her manager for her name. That's how undeserving that run was. But their run as both of them as a full run, the best decision WWE made was to give it back to Chelsea Green. And I think they realized their downfall. They said, you know what, let's take off the belt. Let's get some prestige and put on some other women who might be deserving. And Zelina is very deserving. That run just felt unbelievable. It was really she was fighting people. This is a Jey Uso situation where they give her opponents where yes she's the underdog, yes she's the champ, but these are opponents who probably should wipe the floor with her. And then
Hmm.
Julia just never had a story. She never had anything to go with, and she never had matches to kind of even if she didn't have a story, she didn't even have good matches to kind of say, oh well, at least she has good matches. So there you go. I won't waste any more time with that. I will go to number 13 of the BTR End of Year Awards, the best feud of the year. And I'm going to give my AEW side for this because we didn't do men's or women's. We just said best feud of the year in
Hmm.
general. And for AEW, hands down, best feud for me personally was Tony Storm versus Mariah May. Dude, let alone the story they had where Mariah May and her were best of friends, and Mariah May's Tony Storm's little minion, and Tony Storm's a little heel, and then to culminate at Revolution, best storyline for AEW. Again, for a good section of AEW's television for 2025, not a lot was going on with the men's, but Tony Storm and Mariah May were must-watch TV. As far as the best feud of the year for WWE, again, hands down for me personally, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. That feud went out through the whole year, and because if there is or isn't, they gave me genuine hatred for each other, which made this feud work. Whether they were best friends in the back, I don't care. The way it was portrayed on in television, online, and in the ring, they hated each other. They had the best feud, and the fact that Seth Rollins faked an injury, played it off, and played it to the T to steal CM Punk's glory when he finally beat Gunther for the championship, only to steal it off of him after 5 minutes. Great, great feud, hands down for me. My little nephew didn't watch AEW as much, so he didn't have anything for there. But for WWE, he also said CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and he added Roman Reigns on that little mix on that one.
Nice. Best feud of the year. I agree. WWE. I had that also. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. That hands down was great TV.
Throughout the whole year. Throughout the whole year.
Yes, because there was a lot of bickering through the whole fucking year. So
Him
yes.
him costing CM Punk the match at Elimination Chamber for John Cena to have his heel turn at
Hmm.
SummerSlam or Elimination Chamber, fantastic. Fantastic.
Hmm. For AEW, I have CNC versus FTR.
Okay. Nice.
Cope and Christian versus FTR because that was something that was building up for Copeland,
Yeah.
and that that paid off the way they wanted it to, and they were able to bring out Beth Phoenix as well,
Yeah.
or
Nice little
Beth
cherry on
Copeland.
top. Nice little cherry
Uh,
on top.
Beth Copeland. As far as my side lists here, Jonathan has Cody versus Drew for WWE, and Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page on AEW. Draven has nobody for. Oh, he has Tony Storm versus Mariah May for AEW, but he doesn't have anything for WWE.
Nice.
So we move on to number 14, match of the year. This was a little difficult for me only because I don't. We watch so much, I forget.
There's a lot of wrestling. This is a difficult one because I always the way I picked it was something that stood out and I kept on talking about. That's how I arranged it because there was a lot. There was too much wrestling. There's too much
Yes.
wrestling to really remember a whole lot because AEW and WWE put on hell of a show. A lot of great matches between the both the companies. So, but if you don't have anything, you want me to go, or do
What
you
what
have
what
some?
I can say? No, no, no. It's still mine. Um, what I can say for this one, was it? No, it wasn't World's End. What did they do? Oh yeah, they did do the. No, it wasn't the semifinals. It was a Christmas Collision. Christmas Collision. Takeshita versus Mascara Dorada. For me, would be a match of the year potential, just because of the fact that you've got Japanese versus Mexico, and I bring this one up because son of a bitch, they worked so well together. This was a timed match because it was a Blue League Continental Classic match, close to the semifinals, and Takeshita won it, but Dorada could have had his ass at any time. And the way they both floated around the ring during that match, they went after each other with everything they had. And you see matches like this all the time, but just something about this one just really stuck out to me. I was like, dude, this tops a lot of them for AEW wise. It was
Nice,
good fucking wrestling, good wrestling. As far as WWE, you cannot beat Cena versus AJ Styles. Cena versus AJ Styles was the fucking chef's fucking kiss when it comes to WWE's brand of wrestling, and the fact that it wasn't just them, these two iconic fucking wrestlers fighting one last time because it was their last time fighting, but the things that they did in that match that we've gone over before and we'll definitely go over again if we need to, doing other people's moves, paying homage to other people, as well as still giving it to each other and putting on a banger, but almost 30-minute match. Like the crowd was enthralled the whole fucking time, and it got even better once they started doing the unexpected. Hands down, match of the year for me.
cool,
Uh, my side lists here. Draven has nothing for AEW, but he also agrees with Cena versus Styles for WWE. Jonathan has Cena versus AJ Styles for AEW. This is a good one. Will Ospreay versus Adam Page.
nice, nice, great picks. For me, match of the year, I think we can all agree. And you said plenty. John Cena versus AJ Styles, hands
Hmm.
down for what it was. Knowing that it's John Cena's one of his final opponents, and just the legendary careers that they both have to put on the kind of show that they put on at Crown Jewel, hands down the best match that WWE had put on throughout the whole year. And there's a lot of, again, we talked about there's been a lot of great matches, but that one hands down was the best match for me for the year. For AEW, I'm gonna revert back to my feud of the year, and this was Tony Storm versus Mariah May at AEW Revolution. One of the best matches, not only for story, not only for how far they took the limits for each other, as far as beating the shit out of each other, using everything under the sun as far as weapons, chairs, tables, shoes, glass, everything. Hands down, the best match of the year for me, and it goes to the women. Tony Storm versus Mariah May, hands down. For Mariah May making her exit that year or this year, going to WWE, hands down one of the best matches of her career and Tony Storm. It was hard to top after that whole match. It was hard to see anyone else fight Tony Storm for that belt because of this match. So, hands down, one of the best matches for me. Subcategory for my nephew, for WWE, he said the WWE Monday Night Raw match between the cage match versus CM Punk and Seth Rollins when Roman Reigns interfered. That was his best match of the year. Just for the story, he liked how it was a build up and it was supposed to be the end of it, and then Roman Reigns interjected himself, and then that started a feud for WrestleMania. So hands down for him. Now we go to number 15, best
Hmm.
tag team men's for myself, WWE. Hard to dispute it for me personally. I technically they're not a tag team, but just as a whole, the Judgment Day. Because
Ah,
because you got Dom Mysterio, you had JD McDonough, you have Finn Balor, and that's not to exclude the women who also had great, and they were also tag team champions. Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, and then throwing Roxanne midway through when Liv Morgan got hurt. Hands down, any. kind of setup you had with that team, whether it was men or women's, they put on a fucking show every time, and that's why they were on TV so much. Not only did they do it in WWE programming, they did it in NXT and they did it in AAA. They were across the board. They had great matches. Finn Balor and JD McDonough having matches with Psycho Clown and Mr. Iguana in AAA. Liv Morgan and Raquel fighting the Kabuki Warriors, fighting Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. All that good stuff. Hands down, some of the best matches. As far as AEW, best tag team for me this year, and it was a toss up because it I can make a case for both, but I'll stick with number one, the Hurt Syndicate. We
Okay.
hurt people. They had a breakout year. People forget how big, how strong Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley are, and they were heels for a long time, but somehow they're so good at what they do that they got the crowd turned and they became faces essentially. My runner up for this one was the Young Bucks. Just for the story, period. Across the board from being the VPs to just being Nick Jackson and Matt Jackson to doing what they're doing towards the end of the year, becoming faces and making that turn. Hands down, the best team. Those two are my pick. So, how about yourself?
Right. Best tag team of the year men's. For me, I also have the Judgment Day with Balor and JD because Balor and JD were the tag team champions this year. They held it for a while. They did well with the belts. Of course, you cannot go wrong with the Judgment Day as a whole. I agree wholeheartedly. Um, my AEW pick, even though they've had their ups and downs this year, the Young Bucks are one of the best fucking tag teams on planet Earth. It's hard to fight that just because of the fact that these guys throw themselves at it every time and they're so cohesive. They were like the Hardys back when in their prime. The Hardys are slower now. The Bucks haven't slowed down. The Bucks aren't there yet. I'm pretty sure their bodies hurt because they've been doing it just as long, just not as big of a stage as the Hardys. But the Young Bucks are my pick.
Nice, nice.
As far as my sub lists, Jonathan has the Motor City Machine Guns for WWE. I applaud that. He's got the Young Bucks for AEW. Draven has the Young Bucks for AEW and Judgment Day for WWE. So we're pretty much all in agreement here in my house.
Nice, nice, nice.
So for we move on to number 16 with the best tag team of the year for the women's. My choice for WWE, Roxanne Perez, Raquel Rodriguez, Judgment Day, the women.
Hmm.
As far as AEW, I've got Megan Bain and Penelope Ford. But a close second, my close second would be Athena and Mercedes. I would love to see those four women go at it because that would be a hell of a match. Oh, that's so good. Uh Now, as far as my sub lists, Draven doesn't have anything for AEW, but he's got the Kabuki Warriors for WWE for the female tag team of the year. Jonathan has the Kabuki Warriors for WWE, but he has the Timeless Love Bombs for AEW.
Nice. Mine and yours are pretty close, especially for AEW. I definitely had my number one was Penelope Ford and Megan Bain. Should have been the inaugural champions. Had a great run. Penelope Ford just being the fucking workhorse, period, across the board in the women's division for the AEW. Close second, of course, was Athena and Mercedes. Would have loved to also see them be the inaugural champions because they're some of the best women wrestlers in AEW, period.
Yeah, right.
Now, WWE side, I had Naomi and Bianca Belair as my best women's tag team champions because of how this whole situation, the storyline with Jade Cargill getting hurt, Naomi stepping in her place, and them having a great run, Bianca and Naomi just having a great run as champions, as just the competitors. And then my close second definitely was Kabuki Warriors because they are fantastic Japanese women's wrestlers, and they do put it down across the board. Now, from there, we go down to number 17, our last award for the BTR 2025 Worst Tag Team. This wasn't regulated to men's or women's. But I put the worst tag team for WWE, Wyatt Six, as a fucking whole. In any iteration, they had so much hype. Again, I know it's storyline, I know it's dense partners, whatever the case may be. It just never took off. For some reason, more so SmackDown as a tag team division just doesn't have it compared to Raw, and Raw is not any better to be honest with you. But
Mm.
I think there was just a big letdown, and it could have been more at the end of the day. And they really built them up to be unstoppable, and then just kind of floundered as a team as a whole altogether. As far as
You're telling me you're not a fan of Joe Gacy and Dexter Loomis?
I'm a fan of them individually, not as a whole. But AEW, there's two runner-ups. I think number one, and I'm not gonna give it any more time, and we just already fucking know, Babes a fucking Wrath,
Blah,
but
blah, blah,
there's that, and
blah, blah,
then
blah.
I will kind of reiterate what you said earlier as a flop. The Outrunners could have been more, had that had the potential to do more, but the story and the opponents just weren't there. They were very gimmicky, and yes, sometimes very gimmicky usually doesn't work, but for AEW, gimmicky does work, and it just they never pulled the trigger as far as what they could do. My subcategory for this, my little nephew does again, not really AEW, but WWE, Authors of Pain. Again, could have been more, could have done more. The group as a whole just didn't it never took off, so they kind of ended up being at the bottom because they were a force to be reckoned with, and it just never came to fruition, unfortunately. So,
Gotcha.
how
For
about
my
your pick at the very last award for the BTR End of Year
that we have
Awards?
on this list that we wrote down for the
Yeah,
worst tag team of the year for AEW, I have blah, 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 blah. That's who I have for AEW, and for WWE, I have the New Day. The New Day started to try to make some traction, but you know what? They were floundering this year. And of course, with them, it's like, okay, we got the heel turn. They've been heels, cool, not the first time, but I don't know. There's just something about the run that just was real lackluster, and they floundered. And I'm glad they're still employed. I'm glad they're still on TV. They're trying. They did the whole morning of the losing the tag team championship belts, but at the same token, too, like you can only carry that on for so long, I guess.
and they've
So
been dragging it out a little too long.
thank you.
Yeah,
So that's my list for that. My sub lists. Jonathan has the MFTs, My Family Tree for WWE as the worst tag team of the year, and for AEW, blah, blah, blah. And Draven has for his list. He doesn't have anything for AEW. I'm pretty sure he agrees with blah, blah, blah. And for WWE, he has the Wyatt Six. He agrees with you there.
there you go, there you go. So, I mean, I'm gonna reiterate this. Feel free to leave your comments underneath the video on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you watch your podcast, any platform, and let us know. Did we were we right in the money on some of these answers? Did we miss someone on the best match? I know, and that's very subjective because there was so much wrestling this year that
Yes.
there was a lot of matches in CMLL when MJF was champion, Claudio winning the championship.
Uh
There was a lot
huh.
of matches in AAA between fucking Psycho Clown and fucking Finn Balor, fucking Vikingo and fucking Dominic Mysterio, shit, even fucking Vikingo versus Chad Gable. There's a lot of
How about
phenomenal matches.
Vikingo versus Alberto Del Rio?
Oh, that's yeah, there you go, right?
That's what gave Vikingo the fucking the heel turn, unwanted heel turn.
Exactly. So, I mean, again, if we missed anything or you want to add anything to the list, feel free to leave your comments below. We will reiterate them at our next show or as soon as we can get back into it. But I don't know if you have anything else to say or you have any other subcategories to add to our BTR awards.
We don't really have to add on because I think we hit a lot of what people I think would want to hear and what other people are doing in their list as well. I'm pretty sure we have some subcategories that we could easily throw in. And that could be another show. If anything, what if I do want to say right now, other than fuck blah blah blah, is we appreciate you guys bearing with us through the holidays because I know everyone's going through the holidays right now. I mean, we're all doing it. We just had very Merry Christmas, and hopefully everyone else had one as well. We're about to hit the new year. So 2026 is going to bring a lot more wrestling, brother. And it's going to be good because we will be soon getting to the road to WrestleMania. And it all starts at the Royal Rumble. But our first stop is January 5th on WWE Netflix anniversary. And then AEW is going to start making their momentum after their New Year's bash when they start moving forward towards Revolution in March. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be some TV pay per views and some other things in between. I didn't have a chance to pull it up, but we can definitely talk about it on the next show. But we do want to wish you and yours a very happy new year. Uh, Hopefully your holidays are going well. I know some of us are having the holiday blues. It happens. What can you do? But always, always come back over here where we can definitely entertain you and get you out of that funk, brother.
Hell yeah. And stay tuned for some of the changes and moves that we're going to try to be doing this year, being a little more active on the socials and going live on YouTube. That is our goal. We're shooting for YouTube, doing maybe little live shows on Facebook once we get to that point. So make sure to like and subscribe. Follow
Tell
us,
your friends.
please. Follow us on
Tell
the
your
socials. Yeah,
friends.
follow us on the socials so we're
If
able to
you
do
have a
these things.
Facebook account, give us a follow. It's gonna help us get. I think we need to hit like 100 followers, and we're almost there. I think we're maybe like 40 short. Let's just round about. Fuck it. Get somebody you know. Follow us on fucking Facebook so we can go live on Facebook, and that gives you another way to watch us.
Watch us, but
Another
stay.
way to interact with us is really what we want.
There you go. There you go. But I would say just stay tuned for more. Maybe this coming year, at the end of 2026, maybe we'll have another subcategory because uh, TNA just got a home on AMC starting January 16th, I believe, or 15th. All right.
Woo!
You got NWA who's starting to make a power move on Roku TV.
Okay.
WWE obviously is still a conglomerate juggernaut. They're on Peacock, they're on ESPN, they're on Netflix, they're on CW, they're on Tubi, they're on fucking everything. And AEW, depending on how this merger goes, you'll still be able to catch them on HBO Max, Amazon Prime for pay-per-views, of course on TNT and TBS, and if you're overseas, you can watch them on Disney Plus. So there's gonna be a lot of wrestling. I don't foresee wrestling kind of slowing down anytime soon. So we got a lot to talk about, and maybe next year, new champions, new people moving up, people flip flopping companies. Who knows, right? There's just so much wrestling going on. It's a lot of craziness behind the scenes. Andrade might come back. Britt Baker might make her debut in Royal Rumble. Who fucking knows, right? Maybe Bayley goes to AEW. Maybe she has a fantastic new run. All we can do is speculate and wait and anticipate. Because
With all that said,
2026,
do you have a New Year's resolution, Randy?
I do watch
What is
more
your New Year's
wrestling.
resolution?
Watch more
Okay.
wrestling. A lot more wrestling. Try to
Okay.
try to be more active on socials, and I want to interact with everyone and build this show up because we love wrestling and there's a lot of wrestling to go along.
My New Year's resolution is not only to bring you what we find and what we see in our opinions in the wrestling world, but we want to bring this and talk to you. So get involved because we want to be involved with you.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So again, from Fernando to me, we wish you a very happy new year. We want to power through 2026 and make it the best year. We know there's gonna be a great year of wrestling, but all you can do is stay tuned for more stories, more violence.
Because we're the podcast that hits back, brother.
Woo!
Yeah.